Hello, and welcome to Chemistry Notes. Today, we're talking about the atom. Atoms are made up of three subatomic particles: protons, neutrons, and electrons. Protons and neutrons can be found in the nucleus of the atom. That's the center. Electrons can be found outside of the nucleus, also called the electron cloud, or in what are called orbitals. Protons have a positive charge, while neutrons have a neutral charge. Electrons are negative. These two particles in the nucleus, the proton and the neutron, have a mass of 1 atomic mass unit. We'll talk about that later. Electrons do not have mass. Their mass is so small that we count it as 0. When it comes to numbers that deal with atoms, we have the atomic number, which is found on the periodic table, and it identifies the element. The atomic number tells us what element is present. It is also the number of protons. For example, if an atom has 6 protons, its atomic number is 6. If we look on our periodic table, element number 6 is carbon. Another number that we need to be aware of is the atomic mass, which is the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. A final number that will come into play later this semester is the charge, and that the charge is equal to the number of protons minus the number of electrons. Let's take a look at how to read a periodic table. So if you look at a periodic table, it's full of boxes that are full of elements and information about them. Some numbers that you will see are the atomic number. That's going to be the whole number. In this case of molybdenum, it is 42. And the number at the bottom is, with the 95.94, is the atomic mass. It's actually the average atomic mass. We will not use this for the atomic mass when we calculate it. When we calculate it, it will always be a whole number, never having a decimal. Other notable features here, you have the element symbol. Molybdenum is MO, and it has the element name. In case you're not sure, some of them actually have different symbols than what letters are actually in the name. Like lead, like a lead shield, is actually PB. And it comes from the Latin plumbus, which has a lot to do with plumbing and whether things are plumb or not. If you want, we could talk about it sometime. It's pretty interesting. I made the brain connection this summer. No, I'm real smart. Now let's talk about how we can communicate information about elements. So what we have here, that's called a nuclide symbol or an isotope symbol. So what we see is we've got the element symbol so that we know what element it is. You also see the atomic number in the bottom left. That also tells us what element it is. So sometimes that's not needed, but in our case, we're always going to write it. We can see the mass number at the top. That tells us what specific isotope it is. So we're going to go over the word isotope a little bit more later. So not right now, but that's how you identify the isotope when you get there. And we have the charge so that we could tell if it is an ion or not, and what charge that ion has. So this example is sodium 23, that's how I would say that. And it has a +1 charge. And like I said, when we talk about isotopes and just atoms in general, we always put the mass at the end, and this is the mass number. Okay, so this is the protons plus the neutrons. So if we have carbon 12, we would write that carbon dash 12. And that means that it's got 6 protons, because all carbons have 6 protons, but it also tells us that this carbon has 6 neutrons. Now I've included these just so that you can see how to calculate neutrons, which is very important. But it also shows you all the nuclide symbols for these 3 isotopes of carbon. Again, we'll talk about what an isotope is later. Don't worry about that word so much. But these 3 different forms of carbon, that's what an isotope is. That's really all it is. Spoiler alert. We can see how their names are written. So we have carbon 12, carbon 13, and carbon 14. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you learned a lot. And good luck on your homework. I'll see you guys in class.